The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
There's a girl, she's a star, she's got style, Steffi Star, you see her face around the town, she's popular, Steffi Star.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Weinstein.
With a new haircut.
With a new haircut that Meredith didn't even notice.
I didn't. I'm sorry.
I couldn't wait to show you my new haircut.
You threw me off when you were like, we can't talk after. And I was like, oh my God, quick, we got to get on. Anyway, I'm Meredith Keach, and this is Lisa O'Neill. Welcome.
Hello.
Yay, Lisa. We're so excited to have you on.
I'm so excited to be
You
here.
are a local celebrity.
Yes.
Thank you.
And you're friends with Brooke, and we love Brooke.
Yes.
And Brooke Simino cut my hair yesterday.
Amazing.
She does a great job.
I'm proud of you for like just going for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She did all of our hair yesterday.
Oh, that's right. Meredith was in first, then I was in, and then Lisa was in. The entire podcast was at the Cuttery yesterday.
Yes.
With Brooke.
And what I love about Brooke
Yeah.
is that she listens to the podcast.
Yeah, and she's fun and like lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
She is.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me turn this off.
Anyway, okay. So you're an esthetician. I know you don't want to talk about your business, but you wanted to talk about ADHD and
Got it.
basically daily challenges. And how do you
Yes.
work through that and your business? Which I think is really awesome because those of us who are parenting right now and having kids identified with certain learning styles, I don't call them disabilities. I think that they're learning styles.
Yep.
And then we start to think, oh my God, my kid's not going to be successful in life because they have this particular learning style. And then you find out that there's all these adults with the same learning styles. And you just have to find what works for you.
Yes.
So that's a little bit, I think, of what you texted me. Obviously, it was a lot more, but
Yes, it was.
kind of the general gist. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah. I think in just feeling different for a long time and not understanding why, there's lots of challenges, but there's also lots of strengths. So I've worked very hard. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm a person that loves human psychology. And being an esthetician for 20 years, you talk to a lot of people. A lot of people suffer silently because they feel other or different. And I've learned, it's taken me 44 years, that's actually a really good thing. So I'm working to teach people how to embrace that.
Embrace their differences.
Yeah, and just their individuality and their own brains. I mean, we're all complex beings. I've just really, over 8-9 years, studied myself, my child, people, and I understand a lot about ADHD, and it's a real thing.
So what made you delve into yourself?
I think having a child that was increasingly challenging, he was just challenging from day one, but he's so amazing, very intense. I wanted to understand how he operated, but it was like a mirror for me. I learned quite a bit about myself, and then I really was like, let me understand the genetics of my family. How do I operate? What is this? Because people tell you something, but I was like, I'm not hyper, I can focus, and I must not have ADHD. But the more and more I learned about my own brain, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I do, 1,000,000%.
Mm-hmm.
And my kid does too.
So for those who are listening, ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Again,
Yes.
I don't like the last D.
Why do they have to call it a disorder?
Exactly. I don't think it is.
Yeah, and
So-
I don't think it is either.
It isn't.
There's certainly challenges, but
You learn to overcome them.
Yeah, and I think everyone creates labels because that's just how the world works. So to be able to understand the label, to advocate for yourself and your child, I think it's important. But your brain is wired differently than most people. But That's not bad.
So I found out I first had it after my...
You have ADHD or ADD?
Oh, I have ADHD, which I didn't believe them, but it happened when I started real estate. And so there's so much that goes on when you have a deal going. And I had a couple deals going, and I said, I can't do all this. There's too many things to organize. I can't do it. Things are coming at me. I'm like, something's not right with me. So I went to a psychologist or a therapist, whoever I went to, and she said, you have ADHD. And I said, I don't know. So I kind of put that to bed, and I went on. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to go to another therapist. And she did more testing. And she said, has anyone ever said to you, you have ADHD and a learning disability? I went home and I said, Mother, she goes, we didn't know anything back then. Nobody knew anything about ADHD. But then it all made sense for me in school when I never studied for any of my tests. I just couldn't. When the teacher started talking, it was so boring to me. I couldn't listen. But guess what? I delegate everything now. So I don't want to fill out all those forms. I delegate.
Yep.
You know, my strength is sales and my strength is people. So I use my strength, and that's how I've overcome this label of ADHD.
Yeah, that's great.
But
I think you said you just don't do it, and that's how you overcome it.
what do you mean?
Well, you said, I just delegate. I have someone else
delegate,
do it.
right. I am not interested in doing forms. And even when I first got this job, I sat down with my manager and I said, I can't do forms
Yeah.
or math. He goes, oh, you're going to be terrific. And here I am.
Yeah. There's a lot of strengths.
Right.
Same. Math, I was like an A student. Math, I was like getting a D-. With all the tutors, with all the things, I could never get anywhere. There were certain things that now make sense. However, there's lots of great things. But kids and society puts us in these boxes. And I never want to be in the box.
No.
You know, but it can make you feel lonely and different and like something's wrong with you. But it's just understanding yourself, and everyone is different.
Right. And how you learn and how you cope day to day.
Yeah.
So if I'm going on a vacation, Meredith will make my packing list for me. And it's fabulous because that is a huge stressor for me.
Yep.
Packing for a trip. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
And Meredith's like, it's very easy. Let me make you a list. And it was so much better when I had that list. I'm like, oh, this is easy. But for somehow my brain can't like categorize or
Process.
I
that
can't
way.
process of what and it turns a fun trip turns very stressful for me.
Yeah. Very common for a lot of people.
So what's kind of funny about this for me in this conversation is it actually works for me that there's a label, because in my brain, I see whatever we want to call it, this learning style, disability, whatever, I see it like a manila folder with a label on it that says, okay, this individual learns this way. We've done all these studies and I'm going to put everything in that folder. So now we just open the folder up and say like, okay, here's your roadmap for how you learn. I mean, which is really the coolest thing. You know, so if you have ADD or ADHD, there's so much literature, there's so much research.
So much.
All you'd have to do is research it and say, and then someone hands it to you and you can say like a list, this is how you learn, which is incredible. These are your strengths.
Right.
And you can figure that out. Where the thing is, if you don't have a label, you have to figure it out on your own.
True.
So it's kind of great if you get labeled or someone identifies you in middle school, which is typically the age where learning disabilities or particular learning styles or behavior disorders come out, that, you know, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And if you can figure out how you learn best, you're not waiting until, you know, you're in college or an adult to say, God, now that I'm on my own, I really don't know how to do this on my own. How do I learn?
Right.
Right. Where if you're identified early on, what a big help that is if you're in the right environment.
I'm so grateful for that, for my son, teachers and people, even before he was in kindergarten, they saved us. They were like, there's something going on and you need to have him evaluated. And it was so hard to even get an appointment. You need $1,200 and 15 calls later, but thank God it all worked out. We did. And it's been a huge help.
Yeah.
Because really, like you said, no one learns the same way. That's just how the system is. So I'm grateful for that. And my kids, like, same with me. We're creatives. So we think outside the box. That's not a bad thing.
No.
But people, like you said, don't get diagnosed, and then they don't know how to read. They're adults and they're like, I'm stupid. So it's very important to figure out what's going on if something is not working.
Well, and your son had an advocate, and that's the most important piece.
Yes.
Having an advocate.
I had no advocate.
Well, did any of us at that age?
Mother said,
knew.
well, my mother.
I mean, you would have if you were dyslexic, right?
Right,
Because
but
that
I
was
wasn't.
identified. You weren't, right? So there was something, that was a little different about the way that you learned as compared to.
Yeah, because the
Other
teachers were
kids.
so boring. I was so jealous of all the kids up in the. I went to East Elementary School in Sharon, and so the first floor was, the regular teaching style, but the second floor was the alternative school, and they were always doing fun stuff. They were all hands-on. They were always in the hallway, painting or doing whatever. I'm like, why can't I go to the alternative school?
That's nice. That they
Right.
had
And
that.
Yeah.
So the method back then was just to say, no, this is the way we teach, and we need you to sit still and take what you're given and watch me do something. I mean, for most people, and particularly boys, that doesn't work for them.
I was wondering that.
It's difficult.
Can students sit down? The majority of students sit down in a classroom and listen to every word their teacher is saying, and just get into it.
Probably not.
I mean, I think about myself on a day-to-day basis. Like, could I do that 5 days a week right now for 6 hours a day?
Oh,
That would be horrible.
right?
Never.
I mean, I had to listen to a legal call today,
Oh, I couldn't.
and I did. And I feel like I lost an hour of my life that I'm never going to get back.
Right.
It was the most non-committal legalese I've ever listened to.
Right.
They said, well, this way, but actually it might not be that way. It might be
Right.
this way.
Yeah.
And we're not committing to anything.
Of course.
And this cannot be recorded.
I mean, that's why I didn't bother to invest it in the trial anyway.
Anyway,
And that's where you can do some breathing. Just let that all go.
I'm going to pull up your text message
Okay.
because pull out your notes because it was really some amazing stuff.
Got them.
Okay, talk to us.
Do you want challenges or do you want strengths or
Whatever
a
you
little
feel
bit
like
of both?
talking about.
So I think one of the reasons I wanted to come on here was also because there's an emotional piece that people don't get, and not everyone has it, but RSD is a thing. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's rejection sensitivity
Oh,
or rejection
no.
sensitivity dysphoria, which a lot of people who have ADHD have it. So you're like in your head. So it's, if you're rejected or criticized, it's almost like visceral. It's like painful, and you can ruminate and ruminate and ruminate on it. Or it can be a perceived threat. So that's something that a lot of people have. And I myself,
Tell me RSD one more time.
rejection sensitivity or rejection sensitivity dysphoria. It's just
What do you have?
a characteristic.
What's your sleep disorder?
I have revenge sleep procrastination.
So you have RSP,
I did it last night.
and this is RSD.
D.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. When you said RSD, I was thinking of RSP.
There's so many things. So many things. But this is very impactful. If you have it, you care about things that you shouldn't even care
So
about.
give us an example.
Like if you took a test and you got an 80 instead of 100, I mean, you could feel like such a failure. It could be something real, or you could perceive something like that person doesn't like me. They said this to me, and you don't even like them, but you could be thinking about it so much. You're so hard on yourself, but that piece, it can be debilitating for people.
I know people who have this.
I would have been thrilled with an 80.
I know people.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of someone we both know, actually.
Oh.
Constantly female, constantly in a state of just what you just described.
Yeah.
I mean, in every situation,
Right.
it's like the takeaway is they
Need a Xanax.
almost like they don't like me, or they're jealous of me, or it's like this negative rather than where for me, when we talk about a situation like that, it doesn't even hit my radar.
Right.
It doesn't.
And for me, I think often I've worked through so much of this and I really actually don't care what most people think. I mean, if I love them, I do. But otherwise, I'm like my own person. I do my own thing. But then you see it with your kid and you get triggered. So it's something real and there's so many techniques and you can learn how to just kind of quiet it down and acknowledge what I'm thinking. Is it even real? That's the question. Is this real and does it matter? And usually it's no.
And that's pretty much with life, because anything in the past kind of doesn't matter anymore, right? And the future is, we don't know what the future is.
No.
So all that chatter in your head is a waste of time.
It is.
Right.
Especially in the middle of the night. If you're ruminating on something in the middle of the night, it's nonsense.
What a waste of time.
Waste of time. It's being like paranoid high.
Yes.
Or something like that, where you're like, oh my God, you focus on something and you're like,
so bad.
Meredith, shut up. Just stop.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just hard.
This is nonsense.
We all have it, I think, to some degree as humans, but it can be really a difficult piece of the ADHD.
Well, you know, something interesting happened to me the other night. So I went to town meeting. I'm not going to delve into town meeting because I know that would bore you to tears. It's not what I'm talking about. Right. So an article came up that I felt I needed to comment on.
Okay.
And you've got a complete auditorium filled with people who are staring at you, some angry, some in agreement, some tired, you know, just all these personalities. And I don't have an innate fear of public speaking.
No, you're very good.
I don't mind getting up and speaking.
Yeah.
However, and this goes in lines, we have this subconscious that comes true. So I wouldn't say that I would be afraid to get up and speak, where that's the most common fear or phobia, right? Is public speaking. But in that process of just thinking about speaking, my heart started to beat really. Mm-hmm. My blood pressure started to go through the roof to the point where it triggered a nerve in the back of my head, almost like a migraine type later that night that has lasted 2 days.
Wow.
And yet I wasn't afraid, but this made me think so much because I'm not inherently afraid of public speaking, but there must be something and I spoke and I was articulate and I did what I needed to do.
She got the article passed.
I didn't bumble through it. It wasn't like I blacked out.
Sure.
But the physical reaction was fascinating to me because when I speak about it and say, this isn't a phobia I have, and yet deep down, it's something there.
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe that's part of when we're laying awake at 2 a.m, or maybe what you talk about, you know, even just with your son having this and it was a trigger for you where you're like, I recognize that.
Yeah.
Right. And how do we get through it? To me, my reaction with this physical reaction is I need to public speak more because I can't have this be something that just comes up and like I feel like I'm going to stroke out in the middle of a town meeting. Like, that's not productive.
Yeah.
Right. Or if you suddenly
job.
have to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And like this becomes something that inhibits you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. Or like even you're saying that triggered you from your son. Like now all of a sudden you're in your brain and like now this is affecting you.
Yes.
And so how do we bring those out and work through them? I mean, I tried that moment, breath. And I would liken it with bringing lavender to when you are in labor. Like it did not help. It did absolutely nothing.
I can speak on this because I've done a lot of it. Getting out of your head and into your body, we're all in our heads, especially now in today's world. But people who have more neurodiversity tend to be in their heads more. So I've done so much training on breath work and yoga and Reiki, like I'm trained in all these things, but I'm now able to practice something like if I'm in my head, even you can simply touch your body to get back into your body and realize I'm here, I'm okay. It's like little things that you practice day in and day out. Breathing is a huge one. I mean, I do lion's breath all the time, which is like you're sticking out your tongue. You're not going to do that, but you can just do some simple belly breathing and it does actually reset your nervous system. Just breathe in through your nose, push your stomach out, and out through your nose or mouth into your back. 3 times that will reset your nervous system and help get you out of your head. But lion's breath is the best.
Well, but I wasn't that I was in my head. It was a difference.
It was a
My
physical
head
reaction.
was fine.
It
My
was
head was fine.
visceral.
It was the physical. I was getting this physical reaction, but I wasn't walking up the steps and thinking, gee, I'm nervous
Okay.
about what I'm going to do.
Okay.
It was something. Why was I having this physical reaction to something that it was almost like going about your way and seeing your son, and suddenly that triggers you. Well, it triggers you to think about it, but it triggers in a way to have these physical reactions, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So a friend of mine just posted on social media that she had a stroke, mini stroke, and she's going to be okay.
Oh, goodness.
But then her follow-up was just a reminder that to be good to your body and to take time out, to relax, to chill. The
Yeah.
stress had caused this mini stroke for her.
Yeah.
So I find that fascinating, though. You say, like, we got to get out of our head. But what do we do when we don't even think we're in our head, that everything seems to be going along fine, and then all of a sudden you're having this physical reaction when you don't even think anything's wrong?
Sounds like a mini panic attack.
Maybe.
I bet you probably somewhat were in your head. So how you can ground yourself, like, and connect those pieces, because we're so connected, our mind and body, that connection,
Right.
and it's a practice, you know. So I don't have the exact answer for you, but I think figuring out how to ground yourself in that moment, if it happens to you again, you're recognizing it, but you have to continue on with what you're doing clearly at that moment. So just kind of feeling like you're safe. I don't know, for me, sometimes touching myself physically, like I'm in control of my body. That's why I do that, if that makes any sense to you. But it's different for everyone. Your head was probably connected to your body, but not fully.
Right.
Like something was in the middle. We're complex. We're complex
so
beings.
complex.
It's like simple, but not,
Right.
you know? So,
Well, I think too, so a friend of mine recently was talking to me about her son and the difficulties that he's having in the school system and with peers. She kind of talked a bit about that, and it sounded to me like he's not in the right school.
yep.
And it's not a fault of the school necessarily, but you know, when we think about the public school system, the public schools have to educate everybody, and everybody's not going to fit in that dynamic. And I think that that's a little bit of the difficulty that we have with educating people, because if we do have all these different learning styles,
Yes.
and you don't know, you could get a class coming along of 200 kids with all, you know, running the gamut of different types of learning styles. And at the end of the day, this public school system has to create one classroom that you have to go to, and these are the things you have to learn
Yep.
in order to do what the school system deems as successful, right? To
Yeah.
become successful adults. You graduate at 18, theoretically.
Yep.
And so I think, to your point, the sooner you can kind of figure yourself out and figure out your learning style, help your kid figure out how they best learn or what's going to be their success. And another friend of mine said, Bill Driscoll said this because they homeschool their kids. He's been on our show before, that we focus too much on what we're not good at.
Yes.
And yet, by the time we get to become adults, you fall back on what you're good at. So why do we spend so much time focusing on, if math isn't your strength, there's no need to push you into advanced math or continue on that trajectory. Just check off the boxes of what you're going to need on a day-to-day basis. I don't need to be studying parallelograms. I never would ever use that ever in my life, and I knew it young.
Well, unfortunately, it's on the standardized testing. So they have to teach what's on those standardized tests, and that's what stinks.
And it's very challenging for teachers. I'm so grateful for some of the people.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, I wish I could homeschool. I could never. I would. My child and I would like kill each other. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
But yes, it's also positive. If you're a parent, positive parenting, learning how to self-regulate. You have to learn that before you can do it with your kid. And you're modeling everything. We don't realize that. Our parents didn't realize that. But we're the generation, I'm saying me, that can change some of the stuff. And our kids are going to be okay. But it's teaching them to capitalize on their strengths, because no one is good at everything. You know, it's just not, it's not possible. And some of the pioneers of the world, the most creative, influential people have ADHD.
Of course we do.
John F. Kennedy, Albert Einstein, Bill Gates. I mean, the list goes on and on, like
My people.
musically, creative, exciting.
Mhm.
So we don't want to follow this roadmap because guess what? You're going to be something else. You'll be okay,
Right.
but you have to. So it's tough.
Well, and figuring out, like Steph did, I'm just not going to do that. It doesn't mean that I can't do this whole thing, but this part of it, I'm not going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of listening in class, I made jokes. I had fun every class I went into because I
good.
couldn't do the work. I didn't want to listen to the work. It was so boring. Couldn't.
Well, you made a choice.
I made a choice not to listen. And my parents were fine.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
Because then you didn't grow up thinking that you were a horrible, bad person.
No.
Yeah. And knowing who you are. Like, we're told who to be from the time we're little, whether it's, how to behave, how to listen, how to learn, so we have to change that a little bit. It's very hard to tell people, like people always told me, wear this, do this. And one day I was like, I'm doing whatever I want
Mm.
in all
So
the
liberating.
ways. And I lost people and some people got upset, but I found myself at a young age. And I continue to find myself. And I love myself. We don't love ourselves. A lot of people don't. It sounds like you did from a young age, and that's great. Like you chose yourself.
Well, yeah, because I just knew what I could do and what I couldn't do. So I could make
Yeah.
people laugh.
Yeah, that's
that's what I
awesome.
did.
Yeah.
And that, that's carried me through life. And I just have, great relationships with people.
Yeah.
So,
You're
I think I
dancing.
make people feel good about, themselves, and people like to hang around with me.
Yeah.
So, so that was, I just naturally gravitated towards that.
That's good.
Me sitting and writing papers, which I wrote a lot of them, or trying to do math problems, that was just not.
Same.
Well, and here you are in a relationship business.
Exactly, which is it's perfect for me.
Socializing is my favorite thing to do in the
Yes,
whole
it's
world. Since I was a little kid,
Yes.
every report card would be, she talks too much.
Yes.
I can't
Like
move her
Alexa.
anywhere because she will still talk. And here I've made a business out of
Right.
talking.
So you're perfect examples.
Yeah.
For all those wondering, like, am I too much? People will tell you if you talk, you're too much. No, you're not. That was good.
Sometimes I am too much.
That's okay.
Sometimes I'm too loud.
I'm too
Everyone's
much
like,
loud,
honestly,
trust
you
me."
talk so loud. I can't talk soft. I don't know.
That's good
I don't.
in a way.
When I get my nails done,
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. They're talking Vietnamese and they're just like talking like this. And the woman 5 chairs over is answering. I'm like, Apple, how do you do that? I can't even hear you across the way from me.
Yeah, but that's
It's
what
amazing.
makes you special.
It's so amazing. I'm so impressed.
Can we talk about just how good it feels to get a mani-pedi or your hair done?
I'm like the worst appointment person, but yes.
Wait, I know we're not supposed to. We're not really talking about your
talk
business, but
whatever
my
you'd
God,
like.
do you give an amazing facial?
Really?
Thank you.
So where's your practice?
So I'm solo in West Bridgewater
Okay.
now. I don't take new people because I've been so blessed for so many years, and I'm transitioning into
Oh,
this world of wellness. And coming soon is another venture, but I still do the skincare, but you'll see it. Collaboration. I've been working on for a long time.
oh,
So all the yoga, energy, self-care stuff.
oh!
But
my
different.
routine, Lisa. Now it is. I don't know how I get through the day between the dry brushing, and now I'm using what's that? Castor oil.
Yep.
I have glutamine in my water. I have milk thistle. I'm putting Celtic salt under my tongue. I am using hormone cream.
On your face?
Nope, not on my face. I forget what it's called. It's just one thing. It's just you put a pea size like behind your neck, but I mean my
Some kind of
program
estrogen.
is just getting exhausting.
Involved.
And it's so funny because when I was younger, I saw an interview with Lonnie Anderson. Remember Lonnie Anderson? She was girlfriends with Burt Reynolds. I don't know if you guys remember the blonde,
Yes.
and she was
Yes.
gorgeous. And so my mother must have had a show on. Maybe it was the Mike Douglas show or whatever it was. Anyway, Lonnie Anderson was on, and she's they asked her how long it took her to get ready in the morning, and she said 2 hours.
Holy cow.
And I said, what? And for some reason, I never forgot that.
That's a long time.
Quite frankly, people, that's kind of turning into what's going on with me. I mean, between my bedtime routine, it's crazy what's going on.
Are you feeling good?
I am. I've also kind of switched my diet around, which is
Huge.
like the glucose. I'm monitoring that so that I'm not having these spikes of where I need carbs.
Yeah.
So I'm
You're regulating.
having like a savory breakfast, and it's really helped.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and then I've been taking a tablespoon of cider vinegar. I mean, I'm telling you, I have electrolytes in my water.
That's
This
great.
is exhausting, folks. Who's got time to work? Between this and the trial, there's no time.
Well, you'll find a balance at some point.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Try it
I'm
out.
getting my routine.
And your grounding sheets.
Oh, and I have grounding sheets that I sleep on.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. This is a big
So
commitment.
you're my girl, Lisa.
This is a bit. You do a lot more than I do. A lot of things. I'm very low maintenance. My things are like super easy. I never get my nails done. I barely get my hair done. Brooke kind of makes me.
She says we have to cut our dead ends off.
Yeah, but whatever works for you.
Right.
You know, body work is like my favorite thing. I need massage and I need all Reiki and I need all those things.
Can you unblock my chakras?
I actually probably can. I'm almost done with my course.
Oh, good. I can't wait. I feel like I have a blocked chakra.
We all do.
Which chakra?
My weight chakra.
That could be coming from all different. We can chat
Yeah,
about that.
I think
another
it's-
time.
I think it's stress.
Yeah.
Are you stressed?
I don't feel like I'm stressed, but I think inside I'm stressed.
Well, clearly you can be stressed because I didn't know I was stressed.
Right.
I didn't know there was an event that was bothering me, but clearly it bothered me. I mean,
What, the other night at town meeting?
yes, that's crazy to me.
But you're listening to your body. So if you have that again, you'll follow up with it. It means
Yeah.
something.
But the other thing is, Meredith, you're very passionate about your causes, and you're very passionate about the town of Easton.
Yeah.
And you wanted to be heard, and you felt passionate about which way this vote should go.
Yeah.
So you worked yourself up into a tizzy.
A complete lather.
But it's fine, because once again,
But I'm just
it passed.
fascinated that we can have these physical effects and
Right.
not anticipate
Maybe it
them.
wasn't even yours. Sometimes I'm an empath, so I feel energy of other people.
I do too.
So
I do
it
too.
could,
I'm so bad at
It's
that.
so
I
how do
hate it.
we block
That's
other
a whole
people's
other
energy?
course. I've been working on that. I have a spiritual coach, and she's amazing. And
Oh,
I make bubbles and all these things
Okay.
around me. And you have too many things. We can get you some sage. You can spray it.
Yep.
It's a spray, easy. Clear your energy field.
Oh, I like that.
But there's so many things. I mean, if you feel other people's energy, you're surrounded by it. It can affect you, and you don't even know that it's
An
yours.
open house wipes
We are
me
exhausted.
out.
Yes, that's
I-
why.
Cannot.
It's this frantic energy. It's like being, especially in today's market, it's like watching a game of musical chairs
I can only imagine.
and watching the body language of all the people there who want the house, don't like the people around them. I mean, it is, as Stephanie would say, almost have to take to the bed.
We do. We have to take to the bed after
I have to
an
lay
open-
down
I
after.
can't make plans after an open
Yes,
house.
you have to reset.
This is a
Yes.
real thing.
It's
No,
a
it is.
real
So
thing. And
you're
I go
probably-
lay down and then I'm better.
Interpersonal intuition is a real thing. And that's like you just know and feel things that you don't even want to know or feel.
Well, how do we?
Yes.
I don't want to do that.
I don't either.
We can work on it. I'm a little bit witchy. I'll help you.
Oh, I love it. I love a witch.
Yeah, I'm becoming one. I
Oh.
mean, in the best way that
Yes,
I can.
the good witch.
Yeah.
Right, to help us all.
I could use
Yeah.
spray myself. I do notice that it's better for me when I have someone with me, like an open house, another for example. So if I host with someone, I'm not quite as exhausted afterwards.
Sure.
It's almost like a distraction or something.
yeah, they can balance
yeah.
it out a
Yeah.
little bit for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But otherwise, ugh, it's
Mm.
brutal.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. It's not that I'm not enjoying the time
No.
talking with people and talking about the house and like it's my favorite thing in the whole entire planet, almost. But it's exhausting.
There's a lot in there. Yeah. That makes sense.
And I don't get it every time I go. Like I
No.
went to a banquet last night and everything was fine. I wasn't exhausted afterwards.
Yes.
Right.
Certain energies and
Certain energy.
and connections will exhaust you.
Yeah.
So that's part of self-care, and whether we're talking about ADHD or just regular people, is finding. Sometimes you inadvertently have to be in these situations, but if you're in something that makes you feel that way, or with in a relationship, friendship, you realize like that's how you're feeling for a reason. So listen to that.
Oh, yeah.
If you can. Sometimes we need to separate.
Yes.
Now, do you get migraines?
I do not. That's one thing I don't
Never.
get.
Never got migraines.
Thankfully, no.
Mm.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Although I haven't had them for a bit. So
Don't say
Good.
that.
Good. Yeah. No, I have a lot of physical stuff because I feel everything. But movement helps me personally. Exercise,
Same.
diet. I drink tons of water, always have. Meditation. It's like really hard for me to do, but I've learned, the wellness. All the wellness stuff, mind-body connection. And that's where I'm going to be bringing.
I found that
I
napping
love
for me
that.
These
is
services.
meditation.
It helps.
It's meditation for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a reset.
Yeah. And
Because I could do it for 10 minutes. You too, right?
you can do it for 3.
Yeah.
What's strange is I don't nap anymore.
Really?
So I don't know what. Yeah.
3 minutes. Close your eyes.
Right.
Yep.
Spotify, put in
Exactly. Just breathe.
a 3-4
Yep.
minute meditation. It can be a game changer.
It is. And then you open your eyes and you're like, wait, I
Where
forgot
was
where
I?
I was.
Yes.
I love that.
That's same.
Yeah. I'm into all that. too,
Yeah.
so.
It's
I do it sometimes at the office in the chair.
Yeah.
and like less. We're always connected. We're on social media. All that
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, that your brain is constantly processing. It's
Yes.
exhausting.
I've also
It's
moved
exciting.
my phone away from my bed.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. And that's been helpful too.
Good. Yeah.
And I got some radiation blocker from my phone, which whatever it is. I don't know what it is,
Okay.
but I'm trying. But yeah, it's
There's
been
a
a game
crystal
changer.
for that too. I can get.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Crystals are real.
They are. They come from the earth. Powerful.
They are very powerful.
Look, I'm on your board. I'm on your board.
I'm going to bring you all kinds of things. I'll just leave them at the door. And then when I open my place, you can come and get some of the things
love
too.
So I made fire cider for the first time, and it was a little too harsh for me. So what fire cider is, I don't have any research behind it. I am in home sales, so I don't know anything medical either. So just the disclaimer. But this fire cider is superfoods, a bunch of superfoods that are fermented in apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
And they sit there for 2 months. And I added a lot of really spicy, the horseradish, super hot peppers, blueberries, cranberries, you name it, right? And my girlfriend said she thinks it made her skin better. Is that possible?
Apple cider vinegar does wonders for the skin. And yeah, I mean, everything we put in comes out through our skin. It's a cellular
Just
process.
take a
have
tablespoon
to
of
make
apple
some
cider vinegar every morning.
I mean, I can take that.
In some
The-
water. Well, you
the rest
put it
of
in
it
some
was too
water and you have
harsh.
to drink it with a straw because it's not good for your teeth enamel.
Or just
Oh, really?
shoot it real quick.
I try, but how do you
It's
shoot it with a
gross.
spoon?
You can't. You got to put it in a cup. It's gross.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it's too,
It's aggressive.
yeah.
I do it too.
But I
Yeah,
don't mind it with
aggressive.
some
That's
water.
it. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the fire cider was too aggressive
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, but the superfoods, that's all probably vegetables and fruit.
Yeah.
Crushed
Yeah, well, just not crushed, but
like in there.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why that's great for your skin. Antioxidants. All antioxidants.
Maybe I'll make some more.
Yeah.
But sometimes all the stuff is just too much. Too.
Right. It's like find a few things that work for you that you can stick with. There's 3,000,
Right.
way
you can
more
do-
than that, things you could do.
Right.
Way more than that, you know?
I need a new gym.
Oh, yeah, that's been tough for you.
It's been very hard.
We can talk about that too.
Oh, it's such a
Oh.
bummer.
My husband's involved in Healthy Hustle Fitness. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a great
Okay, so
gym.
that was, I loved my guys. There were 3 guys. I loved them. I've been there 3.5 years, and it's 3 minutes up the road from me, and they had to move.
Oh,
And they're now 20 minutes away,
yeah, that's hard.
and it's too far. So I thought about Healthy Hustle, but quite frankly, it's 15 minutes.
Right.
And I go in the morning early. And so like right now, my schedule has been very busy, and just adding a 20 or
Totally.
15-minute drive is more than I want to take on. And maybe
Yeah.
it's all supposed to roll out this way. I'm sort of embracing it, because I would be feeling bad right now because I'd be challenged to even go just because I have so much on my plate and the nights have been late. So I'm just kind of going with the way that the system is going. But movement is my thing too.
Yeah. We'll be offering that too. Maybe close by to you. I don't know.
Hopefully you guys will be closer.
This sounds intriguing.
Yes.
I know. I'm so curious now.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really coming. I've been working on it, like I said, for a long time.
Well, I go for a 2.2 mile walk every morning.
Wonderful.
But before that, and I was rebounding. And so sometimes when I'm on the phone, if someone's talking to me, I'll just jump on my trampoline.
That's
Right?
awesome.
I know. And I'll just be on the phone and just jump.
move.
Just move.
Yeah.
It's good for your lymphatic drainage, right, Lisa?
It's good for everything.
It's lymphatic drainage.
We're bringing like all the waste and toxins back. Well, that may help you to the drainage point. So you like pee them out or they just come out.
Oh,
I do it for the face
I like
and
it.
down the neck. It's pretty effective.
So you don't take new clients?
Unfortunately for the skin, I just can't because I'm too full.
That's fascinating.
I knew somebody that came from Boston to go see Lisa.
That's amazing.
She goes, I moved to Boston, but I will not stop seeing Lisa.
Well, thank you. I'm so
That's
appreciative.
like the dream.
It is, but I'm older now, so like physically I can't do what I used to do.
Mm.
So I'm moving in a different direction, but still I'm still going to do it to some degree because
But you have a new focus now.
yeah, I mean,
And
listen,
it's exciting. You don't
It's
have to stay
it's
in the
super
same
exciting.
thing forever,
no,
right?
yeah,
We have the podcast.
Right.
that's all. I love that you have this.
Isn't it fun?
It's wonderful.
I
It's
know.
a total highlight.
I
for
wasn't
us.
that funny. I'm actually very funny. I wish I had something.
Well,
throw in
but you know
there.
what? In our communication, we don't know each other.
Right.
You needed to communicate something. I feel like we still haven't got there. So I need you to communicate what you needed. Because you said, I don't want to talk about my business.
Yeah.
These are the things I need to communicate to the world.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of people who don't love themselves or even like themselves in this world. And it's really important to learn how to do that because of whatever reason, society, social media, like everyone feels, not everyone, but most people feel less than in some way when we're all doing so many things. It's like you have to learn to like yourself. And what makes you happy, what makes you tick, it's like there's no such thing as perfect. But what brings you joy? Who brings you joy? What is your life's purpose? I think these are the things that one day we're like, oh my goodness, I'm however years old and I don't have a long time left and I don't really know who I am. So I think self-discovery and self-awareness, some people don't want to do it. Listen, I see the potential in everyone. That's kind of a downfall too. But some people don't want to see it. And they're just like, I'm going to go about my day and this is what it is. And that's okay. But some people are just like yearning for attention and love, but they're missing the boat because it all begins with self.
So let's talk about that. If the two of you were teaching this in a class,
Yes.
where would you start with teaching someone how to love themselves? What's ground zero?
Every morning when you wake up, you should look in the mirror and say, I love you.
So Louise Hay style.
Louise Hay,
Yes.
I love you.
You'll laugh. Does that work for you?
Well, I don't do it, but I'm going to go back to it. I love you.
Yeah.
You are adorable.
So positive affirmations, just so we're vocalizing them and then hearing them.
Yeah.
And you're saying every day, so you want to repeat that action.
So you are supposed to, like when you open your eyes, kind of just think of any 3 things you're grateful for.
So I was just going to
And
say.
it does change your attitude when
Yes.
you do that, because I am a person that can kind of wake up grumpy. I don't know
Same.
why. Like, I have no reason to be grumpy. I have nothing in my life to be grumpy about.
Yes.
But sometimes I blame mother. I wake up grumpy. And so I said, I'm going to change that. And
Yeah.
so I do open my eyes and think of my 3 things.
You're ahead. So that is the easiest thing that you can do, but the hardest. But if you do it every day, and that works for me as well. 3 things. And it's not even about myself, but as you learn to shift your brain towards more positive thinking, then you start to like yourself a little bit more. It's interesting how it works because we're all wired towards the negative, and
it's, I had a childhood friend whose mother was, she was always very heavy, beautiful, but my God, did she love herself. And I always admired
Yes,
that
I
when
love
I
that.
was a little girl. And she would look in the mirror because we were in Florida all together a lot. And she would, after we had lunch or whatever we did, she'd take out her compact mirror and she'd put her lipstick on. She'd be like, and she'd blow herself a kiss. And
That's
she
beautiful.
would walk around with more self-confidence than anyone I'd ever seen. She was just beautiful inside and out. And I just was like, wow.
That's rare.
Because, my mom was like, why did I just eat 35 silver bells?
Mm-hmm.
And every time, and this is what I grew up with, every time she ate something, why did I eat that? And so, you kind of grow up with that.
build,
She
like,
didn't mean
complex.
anything by
Yeah,
it,
sure,
right?
sure.
But that's just,
It's the way it works.
right. And then here was this other woman who was just heavy, and everyone loved her, and
Yeah.
she was self-confident and beautiful. And I just love, and I always remember how she gave herself a kiss every time she put
I
her
love
lipstick
that.
on.
That's kind of like the Louise Hay thing in the mirror.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 things I'm hearing. First,
Yes.
positive affirmations,
Yes.
repeat them, and negative averse.
Yeah,
Redirect.
gratitude. 3 things you're grateful for.
3 things you're grateful for.
Literally could be anything. Like, I love my new sheets on my bed. I'm so grateful for them.
Yeah.
I love that I slept through the night tonight. That was awesome. Like, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Next step.
Big thing for me is changing your inner narrative. So, like, I've always been tall and had a bigger bottom, like bigger legs, bigger hips. Some people love it. It's always bothered me. So I used to be like, oh, my legs are so big, they're so fat. Like, we just do that stuff. I stopped. I'm like, my legs are strong. Thank you, legs, for all the things that you carry me through, the way I can move. And I don't feel fat anymore. Even though I've been skinnier and stronger, I'm grateful that my legs have been with me and I've been able to do all these things. So I literally, when I go to say it, I'm like, you're strong.
Right.
You're strong.
Thank your body for,
Yeah.
and Meredith, you do that.
Mm.
You thank your body. You ran a marathon.
Good for you.
You lift weights.
I love my body.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
wonderful.
Yes. Yep. And you've
do.
said that before.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes you don't feel comfortable,
of course.
but it doesn't mean, like, I don't love it.
Right,
I love my body. It's amazing. My body has accomplished absolutely everything I've asked it to do.
Yes.
Period.
So you already have that part down. And then, am I giving a third or you?
Yeah.
No, you get it.
Give it up.
Okay, I have like 300.
Oh,
Good.
keep going. I need it all.
Ways to love yourself.
I think it's just not compromising on certain things to please others. So even if you're going to maybe hurt someone's feelings, but you know that you need something for yourself, whether that be time, space, a different way of doing things, whatever it is, do it because that's what you need.
So say no.
Say no. Boundaries.
Yeah.
Say
Boundaries.
absolutely no.
And it's also important to recognize when someone is creating boundaries that you respect that.
Correct.
Yes.
But once you set them, you become more aware of others' boundaries and you can respect them more.
Yeah.
Everyone needs boundaries.
Yeah.
You can't be available 24/7 to everybody.
No,
You'll go out of your mind.
You burn yourself out.
Right. That's not healthy.
I did that for many years, people pleasing. It didn't serve me.
No,
No.
I don't think I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah. And people
Well,
won't
yeah.
like it
Right.
if you switch. Like, people have a hard time with it sometimes, but it's like, I still love you. This is what I'm doing because this is best for me.
Right.
I don't go into all the explanations. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it. It's like, thank you for including me. I won't be able to come.
Right.
Right.
I do not
Done.
like making plans really with
Me either.
anyone anymore.
Because I'm spontaneous.
Right. Me too. I just
Tomorrow,
want to do whatever I want to do when I want to do it.
Same.
I don't want to make plans.
Well, I think what you just said, there's an important piece to that. You don't have to give an excuse for why you're not going to do something.
Yes.
And I think there's a natural tendency to give an excuse
Yes.
when, quite frankly, the excuse doesn't matter.
No.
And recognizing if I invite you, that's an invitation. And an invitation comes with the opportunity to say, no,
Correct.
no, thank you.
No thanks.
Not an obligation.
Right.
Right. And
It's
you
an
will
invitation.
find there's people that are, narcissists, or they can't deal with that because they want you to do everything their way. I fell into that myself with family and friends, and I separate myself now. It's like, I wish you well and I love you from like way over here. Because I'm not gonna feel bad about my choices. So
Right.
neither should anyone.
Ditch friends that drain your energy
Yes. Emotional vampires.
or are boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, emotional And
Vampire. Like, my friends know me. I could have a plan, and tomorrow I could literally wake up and be like, I want to go to London because I actually do this. And then next week, I can't do the plan because I'm going to London. And they're like, who does that? And I'm like, me, because you live once, and I'm going to make this happen. And I'm sorry I can't come to dinner.
Well, I always say that to Tony. Who does that? He goes, and has 2 thumbs? Me. That's what he always says.
That's
right. But it's so great.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's just
But
learning.
that comes with age too. I think when you're, younger, it's hard for them to say no.
of
For
course.
the younger generation, and they just, go along with stuff their friends are doing, even though they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
that comes with age.
Yes.
Because when you look at a middle schooler,
Exactly.
the middle schooler just wants, for the most part,
To fit in.
for the most part, yeah, there are
it's a
kids who
tough
don't.
age.
Sure.
But they need to blend. They need to be socially accepted. It's the first time in their life where the social is really incredibly important to them, not
Yes.
they're part of their development. And so you see the middle schoolers, and they all dress the same. They have the same
Right.
haircuts.
Everything's the same.
Right. And
Right.
not until about
No
ninth grade.
individuality.
No
Right.
individuality.
Yeah.
They just don't have that maturity yet.
Yeah.
Which
That
is
makes
why
sense.
social media is so devastating for middle schoolers. People don't realize that.
It is. And depending on where you live in, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's a lot of sameness. And I'm like the opposite of sameness.
Yeah.
But I now am okay with that. I wasn't when I was younger. So you mask, you just do things because that's just what you do. But, to go along with the crowd.
Right.
But it's very empowering. But you're right. I mean, it's more challenging as a kid because my son is individual in the way he dresses and stuff. And I'm so grateful that he just does that. And I'm like a hippie too, but I'll have, a nice Gucci bag with like this crazy dress on, and people will be like, what are you doing? And it's like, you just got to find, even from a young age, you can find that. And if people don't like it, if you like it, that's good. I tell my son, I'm like, do you like what you're wearing? And he's like, I do. So now when kids say that's weird, he's like, well, I like it. I don't really care if you do.
Right.
That takes a lot of strength, though.
Yeah, I
A
must
lot
be
of
doing
strength.
something right, and he's doing something right.
Yeah.
Someone is,
To be confident.
Yeah.
What's next? Confident, loving yourself,
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know.
exercise.
Self-reflection, self-awareness, exercise, move, get out in nature. We're around all this, it's just screens and wires, and we need to get back to basics. I think that's really important. Being outside, being in community with friends and people that just either they understand you and know you're quirky and bananas, because we all are in some way, or they are like you and they might think outside of the box if that's how you think.
I think it's fun to do group activities too. Like when Meredith and I had so much fun when we took the pickleball lessons, right?
Yeah.
It was just fun. We were up early in the morning. We were
Yeah.
outside in fresh air.
Yep.
We were learning something
Yeah.
new. It was just, a small group.
Yeah.
And it was fun. We got to know some other people that we had never met before.
Yeah.
You're stepping out of your comfort
Yeah,
zone.
I really looked forward to that.
That's great.
Yeah,
I-
yeah. So I think it's important for people to join maybe a group or
Yeah.
just do something that you haven't done. Go for a hike.
Travel alone. There's retreats.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that,
So
Lisa.
I never thought I would, but you know what? I've
I'm
learned.
too scared.
But you can go to
No,
Capello. All right, you don't have to. You can
don't
go,
make me.
You can go with a friend.
I would go with a friend, but
I've gone alone a couple
I
times.
admire people that can travel alone.
Would you sit at a bar by yourself and have lunch?
I feel really, really uncomfortable, and I don't like it. So don't make me.
Okay, that's fair. That's
Would you sit at a bar by yourself and have lunch?
yes.
Yeah, so does Meredith. Meredith does it all the time.
I sometimes enjoy it.
Right. That's so does
More.
Meredith.
More, but I'm social too. So
Right.
Yeah. But I find it fascinating. I have a fair amount of friends who will say to me, like my good friends will say, what Stephanie just did. No, I don't. I just would never do that.
I don't know what it is. Like, why?
That's what I wonder too.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't
That's
give you an
okay.
answer. Yeah.
you like to talk. So if you're talking to yourself, which I do, people think you're crazy. So maybe just one other person with you. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know what it is. Who knows?
Well, I think the thing with women and bodies too is fascinating to me. How many women? I was at an event, Joanne Young, who is just an amazing human being, and she asked people
know
to
her.
go. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure you do.
Yeah.
Go around the room and say something that they love about themselves, and no one in a room full of women said their body. Not one.
Mm-hmm.
I did, but no one else did. And when I said
That's
I love my
awesome.
body,
People are like, oh,
it was like, wow,
That's amazing.
wow.
Yeah.
And
isn't
it
that great?
it made my heart hurt a little bit for all the women in that room
Mhm.
who didn't like their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
My God. And if you're a woman, particularly if you're a woman, not every woman has children, but if you're a woman who had children,
I was just thinking that.
my God, look at what your body has done. You have created and delivered life.
Unbelievable.
I mean, you got to love that.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we should say to ourselves every day. If you're just going to start with something,
Yes.
wake up in the morning and say, I love my body.
Love my body.
Because I think that would make a big difference on
Right.
and how you would carry yourself,
Yes.
right? Your
Yes.
mindset.
Yeah.
So everyone out there,
Yeah. Or
Well, and
say,
even just what we do to better ourselves. We started the conversation
Right.
with all of the things that the two of you are doing to make yourself healthier,
Mhm.
right? So why mentally talking about, the mental and the physical, how these physical things were happening in my body that I didn't even know that they're connected somehow to my mental, of loving
All of it.
All of it. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's really important stuff.
We're
Wow,
one.
ladies, this is amazing.
We are one with the universe. It's
We
not
are.
separate,
No,
but we have to learn how to piece it together
right.
because it's been separated over time and through life, evolution. It's all so complex, but so basic.
right?
I think I'm going to sit in my backyard for a little bit today after this conversation.
I think you should.
sit in my backyard with my dog.
Oh, you
But-
should.
Put some sunscreen on. It's 90, but you should.
I don't wear sunscreen.
This is true.
Don't.
No,
All right. You should. You'll still get tan. That's your skin tone and mine too.
I know. I feel like
You don't want to get cancer.
there's stuff in the.
Some.
That's
I
a
can
whole
give
other
you some
show.
recommendations. Yes, you'll still get tan, but you will protect
I won't be
yourself.
long enough out to get.
Yeah,
burned.
no, it's too
I'm
hot.
good with sunscreen and stuff.
I have
Good.
I have an appointment after this.
Okay, well, we should go.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having
Will
me.
you come back on?
Lisa, you
I
have to
will.
come. Right, when is your?
I feel like we've just scratched the surface.
we have to scratch. Yeah, you have to
Yes.
come on as our wellness person and what we can do to make ourselves feel better
Thank you.
on a daily.
I would love to. And yeah, I think by the end of July,
Yeah.
you'll see me popping up with my team in the wellness.
Oh, so maybe you can kick off our fall
Spectrum.
podcast.
All right. I'll kick off anything.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
I
Lisa.
appreciate it.
Joining us.
Nice
Thank
talking
you.
with
Take
you.
care.
Thanks,
You
Adam.
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Adam.